partly I would blame the issue that it was a campaign period. The people who were making most noise about it are people from his NUST, people who were opposing myself. And it's just politics, nothing personal. I do understand that. And time also to be relevant, because you will find out that the moment they got in power, they went to Victoria Falls on students' budget for their own orientation. This was not even an international exchange program for students and to try and link different universities.
Welcome to another episode of Campus Exclusive. And today I have the former Minister of Information, former Vice President at NUST here, and the current SRC President at NUST. Welcome, Mr. Sigidi-Moyo.
Blessings, man. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very well.
Alright, cutting the long story short, can you just give us a brief history of who Sigidi-Moyo is, who Muziwenkosi is?
Okay. That's a very broad question, but I'll try to be as short as possible. So, Muziwenkosi, I always love defining myself as a speaker. More than anything. The leadership aspect, everything that I do right now, it all originated from being a speaker. So that's the cornerstone of my life, speaking. I do MCing. I'm an MC. I'm an event planner. I do plan events. And above all, maybe in context to NUST, I'm a leader. I lead, and I believe that, and my principle as a person is to build, inspire, and change lives. So if we're interacting together, it's either I'm building you, I'm inspiring you, or I'm changing your life. That's my basic principle of life. So I think it summarizes who I am. So what I get to do from there, I make sure that everything that I'm doing is either I'm building, inspiring, or changing your life.
Right.
Then I can decide if it means going to a bar. If going to a bar is going to build and change someone's life, then I'm going to go there.
Okay.
If so what I do from there is determined by these three words: build, inspire, and obviously changing lives.
Spoken like a true politician. Can you just give us a glimpse of where you're from?
I'm from Blawayo. My home village is Escotin, just I think 20 minutes from along Gwanda Road. That's where I come from. I'm born and bred in Blawayo. I learned in quite a number of places. Grade 1, 2, I did it in Harare, Avonlea High School, Avonlea Primary School. Then I did a bit of it at Italian in Harare again. Then I went to SA, studied Supreme Educational College. Then came back to Blawayo. It was Helen Primary School. Then the entire of my high school, I was at junior high school.
Oh, interesting. So we've been talking about how you were the Minister of Information back in the day, the VP, and the current president as well.
Yes, boss.
It means that you've been in leadership most part of varsity life. Confirm.
Not most, all part of facility.
All of that. How did you manage to do that?
As I said, it all stems from wanting to build change, to inspire, build, and change your life. So the only when I sat down and thought of it, how do I build someone's life? People respect you better. You can build better from a position of influence.
Okay.
You can build when you have an influential position. It becomes easy to even inspire someone. Because in as much as you want to inspire, it's not everyone that you can interact with. But the moment you have a position of influence, even people that you don't get to actually physically interact with, they can actually see something and learn something from you. So I think this is what got me into leadership, basically. Wanting to build someone, wanting to change someone. And from there, I think everything is just adding up. It's just to continue in the line, in the vision.
All right. No offense, but then you've just told us that all of varsity, all the time that you've been here, you've been a leader.
Yeah.
as a leader, what did you do? What did you achieve? As in, were you just the leader, or
Yeah. Achievement is based on who's listening.
okay?
Okay. Right now, but for me to come here, it's what I've already achieved to you, but it's different from aspect. So I'll just try and break down. What will probably, I don't know whether you want to start to me talk about my term of office as president or going back up until Minister of Information. If I talk about the Minister of Information, no cap, people can tell you that I'm one of the best ministers of information that NUST has ever had.
All right.
It's said probably maybe you're not here on campus, but if you talk to the stream that are current pathfinders, I think when they came in, it was my last days of Ministry of Information, and we know that NUST is a very, it's not sorry to say this, but it's not good in communication.
Okay.
We have to guess our way through. But then when I came in as Minister of Information, because when you get into office, when you run for a ministry, you run for a ministry for a purpose.
Right.
So if I'm Minister of Information, the only thing that you can judge me for is when you fail to get information. Whether the academic is not doing his academic role doesn't become my role. So I've realized that people then come in and say, SRC, what did you guys achieve? When I'm Minister of Information and you're getting information, I've achieved in office.
Right.
The rest becomes an addition. But I think during my term of office as Minister of Information, I can assure you that there was a peak. It was during COVID, one of the hardest times, whereby everyone is at home, but still people expect information. I would still come here, get inquiries, get information, and disseminate information.
Right.
I think that's why when even I came back, throwing down my appeal to be vice president, people accepted. No. This guy operating from a position of a Minister of Information, we're impressed with the type of job that he did. Because people are not stupid. They cannot re-elect you 3 times when they feel they are doing nothing. It's only politicians that get to push agendas that probably there's nothing that has been achieved. So then when we go to the aspect of being vice president, again it was a COVID time. Now it was even worse because we're just coming on campus for a week and go. Just come and learn for a week, then write exams 1 week. Then we're done. Meaning that we didn't have much time to actually probably host a number of events, also seminars and things like that. So there isn't much around the vice president. But then one thing that I can tell you is that I'm someone who's very passionate about depression, probably because it's something that I've personally experienced. And I will tell you that I help quite a number of people in that aspect as vice president. And if you read the SRC constitution, a vice president's role is the head of finance. The only aspect that a vice president deals with. So I think I should get this clear so that when someone goes and questions that someone is not doing anything in office, you should also look into the constitution. What are they expected to do? And the role of the vice president was the head of finance. Meaning that if no one is bringing in a financial issue to be signed, probably a minister of academics saying, I want to host a seminar, I need this much. Meaning that the vice president, so if I sign what's this, a PV or whatsoever, then as a vice president, I've done my job. So I think we also, probably the student community, maybe also because they don't know the constitution, they just assume on an SRC, we can do anything. There's a constitution, because I shouldn't step into someone's ministry. I need to just pursue my duties. So go back to as a vice president, I think I managed to also interact with students in a number of depression, and I did a number of projects surrounding depression. And we've done a number of charity movements. If you know a movement we was called Charity Movement, we managed to mobilize resources and even help. It was during COVID, remember? Yeah. We had a number of students that actually stranded in Selbo that never had anything. Because lockdown happened and they were still in Lawayo and they couldn't travel. So these are the students. By then, so we managed to organize probably things like basic food stuff, sanitary wear. These are things that we're actually giving to the students. So basically, that's it for my vice president. Of course, a number of things that we can talk about. Maybe the issue of exams. When we talk about the issue of probably around campus, the cleanliness. Because as the vice president, I think my only role is also to oversee how people are performing in their ministries. But also, it becomes very hard because remember, you're dealing with someone who's not paid for what they do. If they decide not to do, what do you do then? That's why it's also very important when students vote. They shouldn't just vote for the purpose of voting, but they should also look at the capacity. Is this person going to get the indicator? Because there's nothing that a president can do to them if they decide not to do their job, unless if I decide to just pass a vote of no confidence. But then that's too harsh. That's too harsh. Then now to talk about my term of office as the president, I think that was the most fruitful aspect, because now it's different from these other positions whereby I was following someone else's vision. Now I became the vision.
Okay.
You understand? It's different. I became the vision, meaning that now I carry the vision. Because if you are a vice president, you are a subordinate. One or the other, you have to be aligned to your president's vision. I cannot come in as a vice president and introduce my own vision. That will only create disorder and chaos. Even as a minister of information, even worse. I only communicate what my president wants me to communicate. Meaning, if I'm not saying anything, then the president doesn't want me to say anything. You understand?
True.
Then, to talk about my term of office as president, I think with my team, I had one of the best teams.
Alright.
I can ever talk about. I'll just start with the most important aspect. Someone will tell you that when you should go back to NUST 2 years ago, they'll tell you NUST was non-existent in terms of events.
Alright.
Right now, in my term of office, I think we've had more than 7, 8 artists coming to NUST. That had never happened at NUST. I'm sure, which year are you doing? Maybe just to confirm.
Part 3.
Part 3. During your part 1, how many artists do you see coming to NUST? Part 2.
Not as many.
Exactly. When we came there, we realized that we've got a lot of upcoming artists. They need a platform to actually interact with these artists. We started bringing these artists to NUST so that to revive, because it's not just about the academic side. We've got the non-academic side that we have as students to actually go out, refresh, and also experience university for what it is. Because as much as we want to push academic life, we should also push social innovation. The reason why people go through depression because we don't socialize and we don't have social innovation. You understand? So we introduce the entertainment aspect, and we make sure almost every month, 2 or 3 times, we've got artists that are actually coming through to NUST. This is the aspect that was my vision. In my vision, the most important thing was also to bring back the unity, to do events that bring NUST students together. Because if you realize, unlike you said, NUST is a very disintegrated community, whereby everyone comes to class, after class they go back home. So these events, it was an attempt to bring people together. That's why you realize artists from NUST are not blowing. Why? It's not that because they're not good. They've got talent. We've got raw talent as an university. But there were no platforms for those people to showcase their talent. Right now, as we speak today, there's going to be an arts fest that is happening right now. This is part of the vision that we're saying, no, let's create as many events that are going to bring students together. So that each one, we can now exchange talent. Someone is selling, someone is... Then the second aspect that I did as a president was also to look into we now have a disability policy, which we never had. And if you realize the Technovation Center as it's being built, the disability aspect is now being considered. Unlike if you look at the chemical building, we don't have ramps. How do even the lifts are not working? How do the disabled maneuver their way through campus? Which is something that now we have a disability policy to try and be inclusive in our learning sector, because everyone is a NUST student, everyone is paying fees, and they deserve value for their money. You understand? That's the aspect of it that we're coming from. We said, no, we need a disability policy so that students actually get to the disabled students also get to be part of the community. We shouldn't segregate them. So no, that they act like maybe they're a charity case or something like that. Then the second aspect that I want to talk about, we also looked into the funeral cover. We never had a funeral cover. I'll tell you that in the past 30 years, I don't know, 32 years that NUST has existed, NUST has never had a funeral cover. But this is something that we introduced in my term of office. We pushed for it. It has been 5 months. It wasn't an easy journey, I want to tell you. But right now, I think today, actually, it officially got signed. That now,
congratulations.
Yeah, it's a victory, man. Now, any student that is registered as a NUST student, if they pass away, right now, if they lose their life, the funeral cover covers everything. Everything.
Interesting.
Everything, grocery allowance, the burial, the whatever, cleansing of the body, everything that is needed for a funeral, the university now covers. It was different when we lost those 6 students, and I was inspired by the incident. it's very negative, but I think it also awakened us. You know, when we lost 5 students early this year, you remember that we got involved in an accident. When we went to the families to represent, and the university is just taking 200,000 bond and saying this is what we can offer. Imagine what it does, 200,000 bond.
Nice.
You understand?
That's sad.
That's sad, man. So when I saw that, I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to change this. During my term of office, we are going to change this. That's an achievement, man. I want to tell you, it wasn't an easy task. Moving on to the next issue, we also covered, we now have a sexual harassment policy. This is a policy that was signed during my term of office. And if people that were observing during my campaign, I was talking about that lecturers tend to take advantage of students, a die for mark. This is something that has been existing. And we had a sexual harassment policy that covered, that was an umbrella sexual harassment policy. We said, no, we want a sexual harassment policy that actually focuses on students and that clearly states in a situation where a student is sexually harassed, what do they do? We want to protect our students. Before we talk about any other things, the students' life, because my main focus was to build a conducive environment. I knew that I cannot achieve everything in one term of office. One is, it's not enough to correct all the wrongdoings. But one of the main focus during my term of office was to leave a conducive environment for students, which was the sexual harassment policy. And now it's there. So even students, because it's only focused on a lecturer or two, but now student to student sexual harassment. Because sexual harassment is not just happening with lecturers. We are sexually harassing each other. True. You understand? It's happening among students, but it hasn't been spoken about because we don't have a clear policy that states when a student sexually harass another student, what happens. That's why we introduced this policy. That's the third aspect. I've talked about the aspect of entertainment, I've talked about the aspect of disability, sexual harassment, funeral cover. The other aspect that I want to introduce is the academic aspect. One will tell you that right now NUST is the cheapest fees in Zimbabwe. Alright. We have the cheapest fees in Zimbabwe right now, and I can probably say that that didn't just happen. Yeah. That didn't just happen. Do you think NUST wants to be the cheapest? It doesn't. It doesn't. They had a proposal probably to have a fees that also, because remember it's the university, they need finances. They want to run the university and they want to bring the best of gadgets. But then as a president, not alone of course, because we work with a team. There's a team of able-bodied ministers that I work with. We sat down as a team and said, no, in as much as they want these funds, the students are not empowered enough to pay that money. Because if we are fixing things at the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary, let's also fix things at the Ministry of Finance, so that it's balanced out. I'm getting the money from finance, I'm paying to the higher and tertiary. But if I'm just paying to the higher tertiary and nothing is coming in from the finance, then it becomes a problem. So as a team, what we also managed to is to provide one of the cheapest fees prizes for a tertiary institute in Zimbabwe. You might be surprised, not just in Zimbabwe, but in Africa. We might be the cheapest university in Africa, man. It's a reality. So these are amongst some of the issues that we also managed to achieve as a team. And even, we had an issue of because my team is a listening team. We had a number of instances where students say, no, we're not ready for exams, man. Who would go there and like, no, we're not writing as a student board. Where have you heard that of exams being shifted? But I had a team that listened. I had a team that listened. And even the issue of residents, they came through with their resident issues. Now I'm just, because I wanted to focus on policies. Because I remember I said that my main aim in office was to provide a conducive environment. But now I can go ministry by ministry telling you what each ministry achieved. Because in terms of residents, we talked about security. And right now, there are securities by the residents that try to monitor that our students are safe. Because we had a lot of theft happening. And if you look at even the race, now it's cleared. It used to be a bush. That area was cleared to try and protect our students. Then if maybe I talk about the issue of academics, which is the fees issue that I just talked about, then the legal, they will tell you that even the way the number of students that were supposed to be expelled for academic theft in the ceremonial hall. But that never happened because they attended those legal sessions and we stood by the students. But yes, they made a mistake, but then at least if you are penalize them in a reasonable manner. We represent the students in that aspect, the legal aspect, and we made sure that no student is suspended from academics. They'd rather pay a fine, but not be suspended from their academic life. Then if you talk about sports, man, so we have a lot of things that we can talk about.
Yeah, true.
It's just that we don't go around there now posting in WhatsApp groups. Yeah, I've managed to produce. That's not what a leader does.
Okay.
You just take your role, deliver what you promised people. There's no need to hang it all over internet.
Speaking of leaders, do you have any comment for your, can you say opponents or other political players you are from Zinasu,
Yes.
from Zikosu? Their leadership, your term of office, it was after Tapuma, who's from Zikosu.
Yeah.
Right. So Tapuma obviously had his own policies. Did you pay any attention to those policies so that you keep them alive, or you just discarded them because you are Zinasu?
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. But then, which policies are we talking about?
So you don't know about any policies?
I don't think there is any policy that I was told about. But then, I think I respect Tafuma for the man that he is. When I was Minister of Information, he was the Minister of Academics. We worked together. He's a hard-working young man, very passionate. I learned a lot from him. Even though there are a number of things that we probably don't agree on, but I believe that he's a hard-working, and I think I learned a lot from him, man. Going into office, because sometimes they say wiser men learn from other people's mistakes. Before going into office, I also picked up, I don't like to call them failures, I call them mistakes. Because remember, we are all being presidents for the first time. You don't get a chance to be president for the second time. So the best way I can learn is to learn from someone's mistakes. So when I went into office, I picked up what I think Mukoma Tafuma didn't do well, and I picked it from there. I corrected that, and I'm sure there are things that I can say, he did well. Because when we left office, Vice President, we were on the process of introducing a new medical aid cover.
All right.
He picked it up from there. He introduced a medical aid cover, which is fun. And then when I came back, because it's something that I was passionate about when I was Vice President, right now, medical aid cover, isn't it where the students were having challenges because it wasn't sufficient. Now, medical cover, you know that $100 that is there. Medical aid cover is now paid in USDs, meaning that our claims now as students are USDs. That's an achievement. That you should be clapping hands for me.
Now, the next question that I have for you is, do you think the person who's going to come after you, say there's a course, these disability policies, funeral policies, don't you think he's going to do the same, just, pay no attention to them?
He can't introduce things that have been signed. He can't disregard them. Because if you now cover, this is a contract, for the next 5 years. Probably the president that will come after 5 years. Disability policy is something that is going to exist. The only thing that they can do is review. Because obviously, they are maybe in coming up with this policy, there are things that I might have overlooked. That they can come in, But then I've got respect. When you talk about student politics, I don't see as close, I don't see as an SRC president. I see students. That's my policy. If someone, whether you are from which political view, if you come in with a great idea, I'm ready to kick in, man. I'll tell you, even from the demonstration that we did, there were students even from the opposition that came through president. We think, and of course, other students that were like, Muzi, go and sit in a meeting and discuss. I normally don't disregard, because at the end of the day, as a president, you are seeing things on an emotion based aspect. But then people from outside, they are seeing this as an overview, meaning that they see things better objectively.
Yes.
You understand? So I think as a president, one aspect that I learned probably from my former president Bongo is to listen. To listen, man. And also, you always talk about don't shoot yourself in the foot. Know that it's not everything that you want to achieve that you're going to achieve, but in everything that you do, just do your best.
So there are certain allegations that earlier on we were talking about Pagua.com, and so there are allegations that you were involved with one of your ministers.
Okay.
Tell us, is that true or it's false? If it is true, how did it affect,
Okay.
your office?
It's I wouldn't say it's an allegation, because the moment you say it's an allegation, it becomes of a a crime. You understand?
Okay.
Because we don't have any section in the SRC constitution that says SRC members shall not date.
All right.
So if I walk into an office and then I see my missus, no one can stop me from doing that, man.
But then you're talking about the the sexual harassment policy.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, you being the president and the person being a minister, can't we?
Okay. Maybe also to just shed a bit of light on that. Who told them we were dating? It's another aspect that we can come up with. No, but who said we're dating? Well, anyways, it's official. She's my miss.
Okay.
Outside office. Let's just say people got to know that we're dating when we were in office, but this is something that happened outside office, man. And I can tell you that in terms of professionalism, man, we were professional about our work. And she knows, man. I'm very professional when it comes to work. Everyone, even you can talk about the ministers that I work with, they can confirm that when it comes to work, I treat everyone the same. All I want is results, regardless whether you're my missus or not. And I think maybe just to clear, it's not a rumor, it's true.
Okay.
It's not an allegation. It's not something that we probably were trying to do underground. No, it's official. But then also, we focus, when it comes to us, we focus more on the professional aspect of us. Yeah.
So, your predecessor, Chafuma,
Yeah.
he didn't manage to graduate with people from his class.
Yeah.
I hear that the same is happening to you.
Okay.
So would you advise anyone to run for office if it means that you will have to delay another year?
You know, the issue of academics is a personal decision.
Alright.
You know, people get to know that Tafuma didn't graduate, but no one cared to ask why. You understand? People get to just see the overview of things. You might realize that the reason why he decided not to doesn't have anything to do with politics.
Alright.
Just like probably my reason doesn't have anything to do with politics. Understand?
Your reason?
I cannot share my reason on a public platform. But then it depends, man. We, even as human beings, remember, besides being a president, I am probably a parent to someone. I'm probably a brother to someone. I'm probably, you go through a lot of things that probably have nothing to do with your academic life. You know, if I'm to sit down and share here, people will start donating money to the president. You know, because there are a lot of things that you go through even in office.
True.
Some of those things we cannot get to sit down and air them out there. You understand? But we go through a lot of things. It's only maybe those that are close that get to see. Come on, so I wouldn't want to give any advice to anyone who's running in office, because we also have a president that graduated with distinctions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all I can say is some of these things have nothing to do with academics. They have nothing to do with politics again.
So, as we close, do you have any advice to maybe people who want to run for the SRC, or words you want to share with our viewers?
All I can say is, man, in everything that you do, just do your best. And the most important message that I would love to share to upcoming leaders is, in everything, at the end of the day, you're going to be on your own. So if you're going to lead because you want to. Lead because it's what you love doing. Because if you do it to get recognition, man, you get recognition today, tomorrow people forget about you, they nail you to your waist. I've experienced it. Trust me, if you go around SRC president, even the Tafuma that we talk about, we all had our phases where we broke down. But the same people that you would stand and fight for, they're the same people, they're the first people to nail you. You understand? So my word to upcoming leaders, that if you're going to be doing this, do it because you love it. Because if you're doing it because you want people to clap hands for you, then they'll clap hands for you today. Tomorrow they're going to be pinning you down. Definitely. Then the other aspect is, of course, we encourage president to graduate. It's very important. Yes, let's come up with a way to balance the academic aspect of it, which is the most important reason why we come to varsity, and also balance the leadership aspect. You understand? So I think that's the basic advice. And also, in everything that we do, is let's do it peacefully. And when you are a president, you don't become a president to a certain faction, to a certain union, but you become president of NUST, meaning that you should treat all students objectively. You don't see as NUST, you don't see as Ngosu, but you see NUST students. So basically, that's my word of advice. And also, it's also to say that the administration that you're going to be facing there is not an easy, man. It's not easy. It's not easy because sometimes you've go through things that might even derail your life in the process. Yeah, it's true, man. Some of these things that should be spoken about. You face things that might even destroy you completely. If you don't keep in close contact with yourself, you lose yourself in the process. Because you remember you're obsessed with delivery. At the same time, you forget yourself. And I think probably somewhere along the way, I might, or if gone through that, you realize that I've lost myself here. I've lost touch of what I love. I've lost touch. The only thing that I want is to deliver results. But at the same time, you're probably delivering to people that will not appreciate you for what you did.
True.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much, President Muziwenkosi Sigidi-Moyo. It was a pleasure having you on Campus Exclusive. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.